Welcome to the Daily Actor Interview Podcast. I'm Lance Carter. Here's the last of our Evil Dead South by Southwest interviews. But I did save the best for last. I'm talking with producers Rob Tapert and the always fantastic Bruce Campbell. Bruce was in the original Evil Dead trilogy that was directed by Sam Raimi, but this time he's on the other side of the camera. He played a huge part in getting this new version to the screen, and even though he was filming Burn Notice in Miami at the time, he would still keep tabs on what was happening as the cast and crew were filming in New Zealand. I'm telling you, just to be in the same room with him is a thrill. He's smart and quick and one of the funniest people I've ever talked to. It's a round table, so you'll be hearing a bunch of voices asking questions, including mine. In the interview, we talk about how they cast the actors, including Shiloh Fernandez and Lou Taylor Pucci and Jane Levy, how the script is everything, and why they shot in New Zealand. And if you're looking for more Evil Dead interviews, just check out our interviews section on the site. I really do appreciate it when you support the advertisers, because every tiny little click does help. It's how we pay for this thing. Also, do you need a website? Because every actor needs one, and Daily Actor is here to help. We do custom websites that are affordable, and it's not going to kill your bank account. We also sell casting director mailing labels and have a great actors resource page. Check that out, and also be sure to take a look at our other interviews on dailyactor.com. And now, here's Rob and Bruce.
Well, it's a loud little room.
It is. It's lively because you have actors over there. Actors are loud and boisterous.
So you were on set, obviously, for the original trilogy. Heavily involved, we can say. Did you get on set here? And
nope. I had a day job. Burn Notice.
Did you see any of the dailies?
Of course I saw dailies.
Unfinished?
We saw everything that they would send out. Rob was on set. I mean, Rob was there, so he saw it firsthand and went through the prep. But Sam and I, from a distance, we still watch it.
Was it kind of a kick to be able to see the progression of the practical effects from back then to now?
Yeah, but it takes a long time to finally see the finished version. It's not until they finish the effects that you finally go, that either worked or it didn't work. So it's only recently when we finally were like, yeah, cool, that worked.
Yeah.
We had a pretty good idea, but we still had to, fine-tune plenty of things.
So even though you weren't physically on set, how fun was it for you to be back in the Evil Dead world?
Very good. Working with Rob and Sam again. I run into these guys just through various things, but this time we actually had to get on phone calls together and talk about the script and run through it like that. And then Rob was very involved in the actual production of it. And then we came and went whenever we could.
Then we did post, brought it here. We did the previews and Bruce worked on the sound all the way through.
So we ducked in whenever we could.
Why'd you guys shoot it in New Zealand? Just cheaper?
Because Rob's the king of New Zealand.
I was down there working on something else.
Okay.
It is less expensive, but it was also very easy for me to be there, kind of keep an eye on it. So
this is Rob's world. I mean, these are good crews. The New Zealand crew. I'd put a Kiwi crew up against anybody as far as discipline, ability, craftsmanship. These guys are really good. I remember I went to direct a Hercules episode in the early days. I went to move a table on the set. I about threw my back out. It was a real wooden table. I mean, they hadn't even learned how to fake stuff yet. Oh yeah, you want a wooden table? There's your wooden table. I'm like, God damn. So they're good craftsmen, and the job is to support Fede. Give him a good place to work, even though it's New Zealand. But he's from Uruguay, so whatever.
Yeah.
So was Weta involved?
No. Weta was too busy with The Hobbit. No, nobody. Some of the makeup guys would have worked for Weta in the past and drifted off for Weta Workshop, not Weta Digital. So,
can you talk a little bit about the preparation for this film, going, actually hashing it out, starting out?
Well, the script is everything. So we know that now. We've been around long enough to know that the script is everything. It's your blueprint for your movie. So the trick was just to have Fede pitch us us a tone and a story, and then together the four of us sort of would have long conversations, and he'd come back with something, and we would slowly work it into a script. And then one that Rob mostly had to determine whether we could afford to shoot it based on the budget. So, you know, it's always a dance of creative versus monetary.
But it was the easiest movie I've done in a long time because it went really smoothly. And Fetty knew what he wanted and was able to communicate as a director to tell people and to tell the actors, so that which is the most important thing a director can do is tell you what he wants, how he wants you to do it, and how he wants you to do it again differently. And you can understand all those things he said. So that's
with the cast, you put these guys through like the ringer.
They should have been there for the first one.
Like finding them, was it difficult to find like the right? Because they all work very well together. You know, like
chemistry is an amazing thing. It either works or it doesn't. Yeah. When we got further into the casting process, we could start to put people that we think is the part with other people that we think is good for the part, and then just see how they react. And sometimes right in the room you go, all right, good. Because Shiloh and Lou did a lot of auditioning together, and they had to be the two guys in the movie that, you know, related to each other, and in the room it worked. So we're like, so that's what can put it over the top. You might have someone that looks good with this person, but they have no fucking chemistry whatsoever. And two people can be very unlikely to have great chemistry. Chemistry is everything.
Because usually, like, not usually, but sometimes there's like a weak link in the cast, and there was nothing. I mean, the cast was
yeah, and look, you know, guys like Shiloh had a tricky part because he's not the obvious hero. He's a guy who has flaws, and he's a coward, and he's a little weak-spined, and I couldn't muster up to see his mother when she was sick, and it's just not his bag. So his greatness is forced upon him. He's not the ripped guy, you know, Dwayne Johnson getting out of the Jeep at the beginning. Hey, how are you guys? You know, that's not what it was, and those are tricky things. I give Fetty credit for writing a character that was that obtuse, slightly flawed. Yeah.
Was it difficult to resist the temptation to cast maybe some known actors or things like that, or was it pretty easy?
We had pretty much total control of casting. The distributor Film District, going out through Sony, they wanted us to have one person, and to their credit, Jane, they were very happy to have Jane in that role, and Jane had the most physically demanding part, and her attitude on set helped set the tone with everybody else. They saw, oh, she's really going through hell doing that. If she can do that, when my turn comes to,
I can do that.
I'll get through it one way or the other. And so that was really great. And so, but within everything else, yeah, we pretty much had freedom to. We had freedom. The distributor, as they always do, and that's the only thing they ever asked us for, is that we'd like one person that we know we can book. We can book. Yeah. We want to send them. Can they book?
Yeah, can they get on
Kimmel? No, they're not even our audience, but can they get on Kimmel? Can they get some of that? So that's the.
So was there any like anxiety or kind of pressure revisiting The Evil Dead, since it has this like cult fan base, like going back to it and making something big?
Pressures to do the same thing we did on the first three. As partners, the three of us tried to just make the best movie we could based on that script at that time. Yeah. So it was no different. It was no different. We were just making another Evil Dead movie. That's why I call this a new Evil Dead movie. To me, it's not a remake or a prequel or a sequel or a reimagining. It's just new. Or another Evil Dead movie. People wanted it. They wanted it. They've been pressuring us, hassling us for years about this.
Now that it's in the marketplace, or going to be in the marketplace, actually the horror genre, because it's different than anything that's out there in its own way. I think it'll be a welcome relief to people who actually like horror and look forward to going to see them. But it's something different. It's familiar if you like Evil Dead, but it's different to what's currently out there. Kind of an old-fashioned, hard-hitting horror movie.
Look, the parents of the kids who see this movie will still go, okay, cool, because it's going to look like effects remix from the 70s. You know what I mean? And their parents are not going to know that it doesn't feel like a modern movie, quote unquote. It just feels like a movie.
How satisfying last night the crowd ate it up and loved every minute of it. How satisfying was it?
It's everything. It's everything you need to hear.
Yeah, that's why
you need to hear the laughter, the clapping, the people talking back to the screen. No, don't. I mean, there was legitimate dread. One of my favorite sequences that played last night is Eric is walking into the bathroom to see and you hear this weird sound and like something horrible, and the audience is like, no, and he keeps going, are you okay? They're like, no, she's not okay. They know she's not okay.
Yeah,
and they always do, and that's the thing that you can't worry about people's reactions because it's in the moment. They're like, fuck no, she's not okay, and that's great. That's a reaction. You know that the audience is paying attention because they know that it's not okay.
There's a lot of nervous laughter.
Yeah, oh, totally. That's good.
There were like two big guys next to me, and both of them, like I saw this one was like slouching.
Well, they punch each other. We watched screenings of the originally with a bunch of football players. And whenever they got scared, I didn't get scared. You did. No, I did. It was hilarious.
Thanks, guys, and thank you for listening. Keep coming back to Daily Actor for more great interviews, news from film, TV, and theater, and so much more. Follow me on Twitter, Daily Actor, and like our Facebook page, facebook.com/dailyactor. Thanks for supporting the advertisers. I'm Lance, and I'll talk to you soon.